Hi everybody, it's Jen from Frugal Upstate, and I'm here again with another Ask Frugal Upstate segment. So today I have some questions from Susie H, and she asks a bunch of Christmas questions, and one of them is, how have you scaled back Christmas to make it more frugal? What traditions do you keep because it just wouldn't feel like Christmas without them? And for gifts, do you buy, make, or reuse? Okay, we have scaled back a little bit for Christmas. I always try very, very hard not to go nuts for Christmas. And it's a little hard sometimes because you want your kids to be thrilled and there's just so much excitement. You go to the stores and you see things you want them to have or that you think they'd like. So I've really tried this year to scale it back even a little more. They're each getting big gifts, but some of them are actually used gifts. Princess broke her MP3 player, which was only a little cheesy $20 one anyway. She broke it this summer, and so rather than run out and buy her a new one, she broke it. She didn't have one, and I knew that what we were going to do was replace that for Christmas. And what we actually did was there was an MP3 player that my husband won in an office giveaway, and he already had a player, so that's been sitting in storage for a while, and we're going to pull that out and give that to her. So things like that. We try to keep it a little scaled down. We've always told the kids from the time they were very young that Santa does not give you everything on your list. Santa just gives you some of the things on your list. So we've always tried to make sure they understood that so that their expectations were not that every single thing they asked for they would receive. As far as traditions, well, we have a lot of Christmas traditions. I wrote about this, when I first started blogging. And most of our Christmas traditions don't cost very much. We do an Advent wreath every year, and the only expense there is buying new candles. I do like to try to find the traditional 3 purple and 1 pink candle, which can be kind of hard. But we do the Advent wreath, and at dinner every night that we're all home, we light the candle for the week and let that burn during dinner, and then the kids get to take turns blowing it out. We also have an Advent book that my sister gave us, and I will put a link to it down on the bottom, but it's really cool. As a matter of fact, let me get it. Wait 1 second. Okay, so here's the Advent book that we use. This was about $40, and it's not made anymore. You can buy copies online, but our tradition is there's a door for every day, and it's got part of the Bible story in it. And so every day we go back to the beginning, and we read through. So on the first night, tonight we'll read this. It's just a page, and we'll go on to the next page, and we'll read the next one. And then on the third day, we'll go back to the beginning and read page 1, page 2, page 3, all the way up through Christmas. So it's a special time at dinner. We have the Advent wreath burning. We read the story. The kids can take turns now that they're both readers reading the story, and they hear the story over and over again. And as Christians who believe in the holiday, for the religious reasons, that's a great thing for us because they're learning what we believe over time because they hear the story over and over again. Another thing we do is we have a nice Advent calendar that we were given years ago by I think my father gave it to us, and it's a wooden case, and it's got little drawers that pull out. And I decided very, very early on that we were not going to put candy or presents in there because I thought there were enough presents at the holidays. So I bought a small tree. It's about this tall, and it's fiber optic. I bought that, I guess, when Princess was born. And it, I don't know, probably cost like $15, $20 at the time, and we've used it ever since. And I bought little ornaments, 25 little ornaments, different shapes and sizes, and every day one of the kids gets to open a drawer and they get to hang the ornament on the tree. So by the end of the 25 days, we have a fully decorated little tree. So that's always been their thing. So that's another tradition. A tradition we have is to decorate the Christmas tree as a family. A lot of people do that. And we have a tradition to make a special meal on that day. We make potato pancakes, and we have glühwein with that for the adults. And that is from the time that my husband and I spent in Germany. Potato pancakes are a traditional festival food that they serve at the Christkindlmarkt. And so we really enjoy that. And that's actually an extremely frugal meal to make. But we only really have it at Christmas, so the kids sort of look forward to it because it's a special meal. The glühwein is just spiced red wine, and that's not that expensive either. We go to church on Christmas Eve. We decorate the house. At this point, we've pretty much purchased all of our Christmas decorations over the last 10 years. So we pretty much use the same thing. So those are not ongoing. They are amortizing themselves. We've been using them so long that they're not costing us anything now. So we have all the ornaments. We got the front of the porch decorated. The kids enjoy having everything all pretty and decorated. We play Christmas carols. We are in the church pageant every year. That's a tradition. So most of our traditions actually are around things that either are one-time purchases that last a long time, or around doing things as a family, like reading the book, going to church, decorating the tree. The few that we have that do cost money, we do try every year to do a gingerbread house. So there's some cost there. We buy a kit, and then we usually buy additional candy. We typically try to invite somebody over and do 2 houses so that we have a guest there with their kids doing a house, and we do a house, and they bring candy and we bring candy. So that can, depending on what kind of candy you buy and what kind of food you use on the house, that can get a little expensive. Those are sort of all of our Christmas traditions. I'm sure different families have different traditions, but to me, the important thing about a family tradition is that it is something you do together, and you try to do it every year. And it doesn't have to be something that's expensive. It doesn't have to be paying to drive through the local light display, although if that's what you do, fine, if it works for your family. But there are plenty of things you can do that don't cost anything, but that make memories, and you will get to the point where people will actually get upset if you actually skip that tradition. Oh, that's another one. We also, and this is a tradition that started with my family when I was a kid, my dad always read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" to us last thing before we went to bed on Christmas Eve. So we've done that with our children. So we have a really nice hardcover, thick copy of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and that's the last thing we do. We sit on the sofa and we read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" before the kids go up to bed. So that's another tradition. And as far as gifts, as I said, we do reuse. I know some people probably will think this is terrible, but I have absolutely no problem giving my children clothes that I bought at the thrift store or things I bought at the thrift store for Christmas presents. Princess got a very nice purse I picked up at the thrift store last year. I've picked up a couple of outfits that I know she will love, a couple of elements of outfits. At the thrift store this year, I bought a really nice fleece for Buddy. So there's really, I have no problem with that. Things like last year, the MP3 player that Buddy got for Christmas was the one that was mine. And it had been mine, and when I got my iPhone, I didn't need it anymore. And it was a Sony Go Gear at the time. It was, $130 when we bought it, so it was not an inexpensive item, but I didn't need it anymore, and it was something he could use, so we wrapped it up and gave it to him. Princess got for her birthday last year for a gift. I received a flip camera for a campaign I did, and I already had one, so we wrapped that up and gave it to her. I don't have any problem. It's the gift, it's the thought that counts. It's not the amount of money spent. So I do like making things, and I do try occasionally as well to make things. I tend to get a little over-enthusiastic and not leave myself enough time. But I've knit scarves and hats before. I've made slippers. I sewed pajamas for the kids last year. I have big plans to make a jean quilt for Buddy that I've been saving pieces of jeans for the last 6 years for him that may get done for this year's Christmas. I also do food gifts for family, like candied orange peels and homemade biscotti and canned things like jellies and things like that. So that is the answers to Susie's questions. So I'm glad you joined me for this. I'm sorry it was a little long. There were a lot of questions, but feel free to follow me on Facebook. That's facebook.com/frugalupstate. We do a lot of great talking over there, and you get links to my posts. Of course, you can go to frugalupstate.com, read my most recent articles, search for lots of great frugal tips, tricks, and techniques, and you can sign up for either email or RSS updates there. And of course, on YouTube, you can go over to that yellow subscribe button, should be above us somewhere, and click on it and subscribe so that every time I post a new video, you see it. So I hope that you join me on one of those media outlets. And remember, if you have a question for Ask Frugal Upstate, you can leave it in the comments down here, you can leave it on my blog, or you can ask me on Facebook. So hope to hear from you soon. Bye!